any further delay, let's get started with the event. So I'm Puneet. I am your host for today, and I have two power couples with me I want to introduce before we get started. The first one, we have Shailaja ma'am and Sandeep sir, and we're calling them the Shastris. They have spent more than 30 plus years together. They are joining almost as a long distance relationship today, one from Thailand and one from Bhopal in India. And we have both of them who just now, as in told, they have endured those 30 years together, even worked in organizations where they have reported to each other. So I think a lot of wisdom they have that they could share with us on how they have managed these 30 years in terms of the ups and downs, their own learnings and things that we could take away from our power couple, the Shastris, if I may take that liberty to call them that. Welcome, Shailaja sir and Sandeep ma'am. Sorry, Sandeep sir and Shailaja ma'am. I'm sorry, I'm nervous to have such people here as well. So pardon me for that.
Thank you so much.
Calling on the second couples, the Jans, if I may call them, Sanchit and Apeksha, who almost, if I were to say, are in their honeymoon period or just 1+ years of marriage. We call that as a honeymoon period post marriage. We married for 6 years myself, if I call this as a honeymoon period. And that's why you see them in the same frame compared to Sandeep sir and Shailaja ma'am, who are not in the same place as well, but joining us together, making time for this. So I think the great thing that we get to learn from Sanchit and Apeksha is one, they are also planning to start things together, though they come from very different backgrounds and are working. They are also looking to start up together. They also work in night shifts and day shifts. So how do they even manage that to happen very different time shifts as well? So I think that is something we are looking forward to know. How do you balance that each other? Then some of us can't even balance working in same shifts at the same place as well. So I think welcome to Apeksha and Sanchit, the Jans here as well as a power couple.
Thank you so much, Puneet.
We are the gens.
Right. So maybe we'll do something like Jans versus Shastris here and see how much score do we get. We'll do a voting from our audience on what they learned and how much they learned from the session.
We accept our defeat already humbly.
Right. So I think before we get started, just from the audience side, I think welcome so much who have joined here on Zoom, and as well people who have joined us on the other channels like YouTube and LinkedIn. Just from a format perspective, if I were to say before we get into the session, we'll start with a small rapid fire with both couples, one by one. That will get a little bit more informal introduction of theirs beyond what I've already told about their marriage life and how they've been enduring each other or have just got married as well. Post that rapid fire, we'll ask a few questions which we have received from all of you on how they manage this, or like, do we see marriage or the married life becoming easier over time or difficult over time? And how do we define things like work-life balance when we are working and both of us are working in different time zones or different places, and work takes us to very tricky situations as well, where priorities may or may not be same at times in personal and professional life. So I think that is something we'll try and get a little bit more deeper into. And then towards the end, we'll open for more questions. Some of you may not have already submitted as part of the registration. We'll also open the floor towards the last 10-15 minutes as well for the questions, or maybe longer, depending on how interactive we could make the session as. So I think welcome once again to the Shastris and the Jans, if I may say, rather than saying 4 names. Maybe who wants to start first on the rapid fire?
I'm very scared of rapid fires. Please keep it for the younger people, the Jains.
Okay, then we'll start with the Jans.
Yes.
Sure.
So we have Apeksha and Sanchit. So just a few questions, maybe very quickly, whatever comes to your mind, you can answer them one by one. So I'll just read them out. I have some cue cards. Little low budget Karan Johar show here. So I'll just call it a Puneet Manuja show for now on the rapid fire.
For after this.
Definitely, we will get back to you on that. Right. So I think starting with the first question, love marriage, arranged marriage?
Love come arrange.
Both.
Oh, okay. Where did you first meet?
Delhi.
Okay. Both did not say the answer. So I was expecting some answer will be different from both. When is your marriage
I was
anniversary?
recapping what happened actually.
Your marriage anniversary?
18th May 2021. 18th
Okay.
November. I am so sorry. I'm so nervous. 18th May is my birthday.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No need for gift hamper. Thank you.
Right. So Sanchit, you got some brownie points here. You can even forget dates. Not an issue. One word. How would you define your relationship? One word to define your relationship.
One word.
Exciting.
Yeah, exciting can be, because we both are very excited people and we try to find excitement, many places. So yeah, we can say
Okay.
that.
Best gift you have received from your partner. Maybe I'll start with Apeksha. Best gift you have received from your partner.
The proposal, he proposed me on Marine Drive, and it was a big surprise for me. Not a clue. I was so nervous. It was like I was talking to him ki somebody is celebrating their birthday on Marine Drive, and it's like a dream. And then I
Wow.
went nearby and saw it was marry me, and I was fumbled and not sure how to react. So yeah, it was the best gift I received from him.
Wow. Wow. That's so romantic. So Sanchit, you have got points here. Maybe I'll ask the same question to you. Best gift you have received.
For me, she said yes. So that's the best gift.
Oh wow. Wow, that's so great. I think a lot we can learn from the rapid fire itself as singles or newly married couples or even maybe otherwise. Second last question. Biggest change in life before or after marriage?
Yeah.
Huge
Definitely.
change. There is a huge change, and
What is the
have to
biggest
be
change?
I have to be more organized. I can't be myself
Okay.
because I'm.
You can't be yourself after marriage. Okay. The last one.
and
Sorry, Apeksha. Yes.
I was saying that responsibilities increases. You have to manage your parents also, his parents also, and a lot more relatives also. So there's less us time and more relative time. So that
More than time.
is what. So that is what the biggest challenge I faced.
Got a lot of stakeholder management.
Lot of people management.
Maybe the last question, and could be different answer or mutual answer from both. A song you would dedicate to your relationship. A song that defines your relationship. Bollywood, anything.
रब ने बना दी जोड़ी. Cliche.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And the good part is my parents also, dedicate them. My parents as a couple are very romantic couple. So they also dedicate this song to their Jodi, Rab ne bana di Jodi. And when I met Sanchit also says the same thing. So I'm like, okay, good.
He'll fit in well,
This song
right?
will go. Yeah.
A song running through generations.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Thank you so much for those very honest answers, Apeksha and Sanchit, the giants. A
Thank
big
you,
round of
Puneet.
applause for the answers that
No,
you
no.
have given.
Please, no applause.
Okay, so maybe we'll move to the Shastris. We have Shailaja ma'am and Sandeep sir. Okay, we are spotlighting them. Okay, once we have them together. Yes. So it may not be the same questions. We actually did our homework to not have same questions for you to give time. But just starting with the same question, like love or arranged marriage?
Love and arranged.
Oh, same answer. Both.
Yeah, I'll put arranged first and love later.
Got it. So maybe next question is for each one of you. Maybe I'll ask Shailaja ma'am first. What did you gift your partner this Valentine's Day?
I'm still waiting for the gift. He's in Thailand, so I've told him.
What did you gift?
I don't gift him on Valentine's Day. He has to gift me.
I think she's forgotten. I came back from abroad the day after Valentine's Day, and I did bring a gift for her on
Yes.
Wow. See,
I
Shailaja
forgot.
ma'am.
Yes,
So
he
then
will give me another one.
let me ask Sandeep sir. What gift did you give on Valentine's Day?
I picked up a pair of earrings, a bracelet, and a necklace, which I thought she didn't have. Of course, to be safe at home, I sent a picture of it to her before buying it so that it's okay. And it was okay, thank God.
Wow, wow, that's so nice. Favorite memory of your relationship?
Sorry?
Favorite memory of your relationship?
I
Uh,
think, okay.
Go ahead.
You go first.
Favorite memory of our relationship for me was a few years into our marriage when our son came into this world. And when I went down, the day I got the news that that the child is likely to come, that day I rushed to Mangalore. And when I entered the hospital and I saw both of them, and I realized there are now two people in my life, and that was a great moment.
Wow, wow, that's so great. Favorite memory for you, Shailajana?
Mm, There are many, but one of the things we love to travel a lot, and the first trip abroad that we earned it for ourselves, and we went to Europe, and we didn't have money, we didn't have that kind. We were on a real tight budget, and we in Paris we would look at all the pastry shops and calculate which was the one that we could afford, buy one, cut it into two, and eat it together. So
Wow,
those
wow,
are
that's so great.
wonderful memories that we have. One of the
Wow.
wonderful memories.
Wow, I think I'll get so lost in the questions. I think I'll forget the agenda of this and just keep hearing. I think the experiences you're sharing. Maybe I'll move to the next question. Favorite movie or show you watch together?
uh, I think Saregama. Sandeep loves Saregama, and I hate it now because it's so cliched, but he loves it. But but still we sit and watch together. I'll be so upset sometimes. How does he watch this? But he enjoys the music, so I sit with him and we have dinner watching the TV. That's a TV dinner and TV together day, Saturday and Sunday.
I think from Monday to Friday when it is on, our favorite show is Australian MasterChef.
MasterChef.
And both of us watch it when it is on,
Yeah.
Monday to Friday. That's something which I can say with a reasonable degree of confidence that both of us like.
Yes, both of us love it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a common, I think, with me and my wife as well. So we also watch MasterChef
Oh, we love
regularly
it.
on weekdays, and then weekends probably the Kapil Sharma show or one of those weekend shows. Okay, so maybe the last question: a song you would dedicate, or which defines your relationship? One song, Hindi, English, or Kannada song, any song.
I don't know. Which is a song
A
from
song or a
Andi.
movie, or a movie title also.
Andi that I like from.
Maybe one
I
line if you
don't
could sing.
remember the words.
Maybe you can sing one line of that, or Sandeep sir, if you could sing one line of that.
I couldn't. I can sing, but you may not be able to listen, so I won't sing. That one line, the song which always I remember is "100 साल पहले." You see, 100 साल पहले हमें तुमसे प्यार है, हाँ था, आज भी है और कल भी रहेगा. That for me symbolizes in important ways how our relationship has grown.
Wow, wow. I think this is the 34th year. So very soon, probably we can sing this song together as well and maybe dedicate this to you on Sosal. This, I think. Thank you so much for the amazing answers, Shailaja and Sandeep sir. I think these were some great answers, and I think really I'm getting more mesmerized into how the relationship should look like and how visualizing, okay, will I be able to sustain, have that patience to also enjoy and keep the same energy that you have in the
I think,
relationship.
Puneet, what is at the center is the whole point of honesty. See, when Shailaja says that she watches Saregama because of me, and there is an element of honesty in that, and I know that. It's not that I didn't know that. I know that, and that honesty is, I think, at the core and the heart of a relationship.
Got it. I think that's something I think was the next question as well, and the most important one. Like, how would you define an ideal or a good relationship as? Like, what are some of those important? Like, honesty definitely is something you've already mentioned as one of the factors. Like, what are the other factors which define a good or an ideal relationship?
Is that for Sanchit and Apeksha or for us?
Maybe for you guys, you could start and then I could
Okay.
go to.
Shailaja, would you like to start?
I wouldn't like to give these terminologies for any relationship, and more so our relationship: ideal, balanced. There's nothing. This is my personal belief. There is nothing called ideal. There is nothing called balanced. I think we need to work together. And I think Sandeep and me, initial years, as for all couples, you have to get used to each other's way, because each one of us, I think both of us look at each other now. If I think I'm reflecting on it as a team, we are a team together. We are a very good team together, whether it is academics, whether it is teaching, whether it is administration, whether it is running home, we are a very good team. And we divide ourselves in terms of skill sets. Just on the lighter side, I can say, but I don't allow him to come into my kitchen. Nothing to do with gender. It is because he is not skilled in that. Housekeeping, cooking is not his skill. My son and I call him the one-man demolition squad in the kitchen. So we don't like him to come into our kitchen. But he's an excellent chai man. He makes excellent tea. So for the chai, I send him into the kitchen because it's worth it. That chai, he makes it very well. On the other side, my entire thesis, when I completed my thesis, all my studies was after marriage. So he's been my rock solid support in that. And my entire thesis was typed by him. That was a time when there was no computer.
Oh.
He typed it. He has corrected the language. His language is excellent. So language corrections. And also one most important thing is, he did not allow me to publish my thesis in the name of Shailaja Shastri. He ensured that it came in my maiden name. And that was something he made sure. And today I realize the value of that. That time I was just young. I was 21. He was around 28. And we grew up together. So today I realize that. So I look at each other as an excellent team.
Got it. And Sandeep sir?
While endorsing what all was said, I've always believed that this whole question of balanced relationship is work in progress. You see, every day is a new day, every day is a new experience. And every day, and I think this balanced relationship can never be taken for granted. That, you see, it's a done deal, it's over, it will continue now like this. See, every day you build that relationship with new things. When a child enters home, that child now creates a new element in that relationship. And we think that child, you see, first 5 years, then you say, no, first 10 years, then you say, no, first 15 years, then you say, no, first 20 years. And our son is now going to turn 30 and we are still saying the first 30 years. So every day there is something new. And unless you are alive to that something new, you cannot build a relationship.
Okay. I think that's very, very well put. It's like a work in progress and you can't take things for granted. It's like every day there's a new challenge, maybe, and there's a new excitement as well into the relationship. And we can see that, I think, from your answers as well. Maybe to the Jans, your definition or idea of an ideal relationship. I see a better together board right behind you. What is your definition of being better together and forming an ideal relationship?
Yeah, I think sir and ma'am has told the crust of it. I was thinking whatever they were saying, it was like the perfect, definition, or the perfect way to tell. That's what we also do. We work as a team. So though our work are not divided, we take over each other's work. But then, yeah, you have to work like a team, and it helps us, since we also work in shifts. So that way also it help us. And the other thing is, we are very opposite to each other. But then the one element which keep us going is that, we appreciate each other a lot, and we try to push each other. And when we do something together, it gives us a lot of happiness. So that is what we are doing these days. Okay, let's figure out how to be happy while doing what he is doing and what I am doing. So that's what we are also work in progress. So we just figuring out the way to be happy together.
I would just add that just say sorry and it will work.
So,
Everything they have
so
done is covered.
that's a magic word. Just say sorry. Need not be. Right. So I think very well put. Like you said, I think dividing work and some of this, I think that honesty and transparency to not feeling, are we overdoing it? Like maybe if I were to give an example, and I had written this on LinkedIn also during pandemic, when the pandemic had hit and we were all doing household chores ourselves. There were no house helps, no one to support, and both of you are also working couple. So what we did, me and Richa, was we actually created an Excel sheet and wrote all the household chores and divided with each other. We went to that level of using and dividing to just make sure that we don't take each other for granted, like sir said, right? Like sometimes we think this is a very small work, but when we actually divide and see, it actually starts showing how much time it takes or energy it takes, and when to kind of even using some of those tools we use in our office work for also balancing our personal life, especially during pandemic when everything was on each of us as well. So I think completely looking at what you guys said as a definition as well. So if I were to move to the next question, maybe I'll start with, I think, Sanchit and Apeksha, the giants here for this answer. What is, like, both of you are working, and definitely, I think both of you are almost 6 to 8 years of experience, one in the software field, and I think both of you are working in different companies. If I were to also tell the crowd, the audience here as well, how do you balance? Like, what is your definition of work-life balance? Given you both have very different commitments to work, maybe even different career aspirations per se as well. Like, what is your definition of work-life balance?
Want to say? Okay, so when it comes to work-life balance, I am very sure in my mind that I don't want my work to hamper my time, me time, or us time. So I usually figures, way out through it, or like we are doing our startup also. So that is something which is my passion. I like to do it, and at the same point, he also likes to, push me or to not to do things. And at the end of the day, when it is delivered or when it is done, we face that us time. So while working also, we when we face these challenges and we uh, conquered them or completed them, so we found that point of time is like us time. Okay, now we are happy together. So that's how it is.
Yeah, I would like to add that work from home is helping a lot, because if we'll be going to office, then it will be really difficult. But while we are together, even if we are working different shift, we try to stay around each other, and maybe use like play some friend or like some old episode, and like we don't have to focus everything our attention, and like it will keep running in background. We'll have fun of our own, and like we both are like night owls, so that's not an issue. Like if she's working late at night, I'm also awake till that. Like we do one thing, that we sleep at the same time, irrespective of our shifts. So that helps us a lot.
And Shailaja ma'am and Sandeep sir, what would be your definition to work-life balance? And what are some things you do? Because right now also I see one of you is in Thailand, one of you in India. How do you balance work and life with especially the seniority at which you are at different positions in different commitments in both career and life as well?
You take it first. I'll.
Both of us are very passionate about whatever we do. be it our professional engagements or be it our various commitments in our personal life. So I think consciously we manage the time. Consciously we set aside time for in such a way that we both have that time for each other. Both of us, neither of us will compromise in terms of the quality of the work that we do. Neither would Shailaja nor would I reduce the amount of time we need to complete a particular professional responsibility. And both of us respect that vis-a-vis the other. Yet, we also know that we need to spend time away from formal work. So pre-pandemic days, we used to ensure that we take a break at least twice a year. We go out on a holiday twice a year. We used to try and make it once within the country and once outside the country. And that was, today both of us miss that. When we look back at our photographs, we said we went earlier last year for a break, but then the pandemic did not give us that. But then pandemic, we were both working from home, so it was a different situation. So making out time where we both and our son sometimes spend time together, visiting places we would like to visit, exploring new places each time. Now that's something we make sure that we have every night when we are together. We have dinner together, we have breakfast together, and we have breakfast on the dining table. Both of us take time for that and sit down. So those moments where we can sit, talk is important. And we make sure that that time is available. As our son was growing up, we both had decided that we would make sure that both don't travel out when he's there. So we used to adjust that. When she used to travel, I wouldn't travel. When I used to travel, she wouldn't travel. So, and both of us know that the travel that we do is largely in the context of the work we do. And we know that that work we do not only gives us satisfaction, but brings a smile to the face of many others in the work that we do. So that's something that makes both of us feel that we need to give that space to the other to go and do the professional work they're doing, which sometimes may require them to leave the city and maybe even go out of the country for a brief while. So that's the way we have tried to balance work and life.
If I can just extend that.
Yes.
I think one of the things we both consider ourselves lucky that we are in academics. We are into teaching, learning. And that's very exciting for both of us. That's one thing which I think binds us very closely, because we really appreciate each other in terms of as a professional. Because when he gets very excited about something that he has done, an activity he has done for the student, or an idea that came up in the class, we share that. That is there, but that doesn't become we are not carrying, we don't believe that we are carrying it into our work home, but we are very excited about that. We help each other's preparation in terms of, if he needs any input about psychology for his political understanding or analysis of some data, then when we share it, we enjoy that. But I think one of the most important things is we invest in a lot in our relationships. It's not just both of us or our family. We take care, we really are very passionate about taking care of each other's family. And we have done that. And we are still doing that. And it's not that his mother, my mother, my parents, it's not like that. We do it. And also our close social circle. A lot of our former students are our best friends today. All our students, a big chunk of our students come and stay with us. And he, Sandeep is very good in remembering birthdays, important days. He'll make sure he'll send chocolates or, valuing relationships is something I learn from him. He's the one who really, he connects to even an office assistant who was with him 10 years back. On her birthday, he will still call her and tell her happy birthday. And that's something that I really value in him. And that's very important in work-life balance. When you have a circle and you deliberately make an investment in social circles, and they become, our house is an open house. We have a lot of people coming, staying with us. Food is always there. Cooking is done. We love having people with us.
Right. Wow, that's so good. Maybe that brings to my next question as well, ma'am. And you really touched upon a little bit in terms of being from similar fields. And in your, I think, overall 3 decades and more than 3 decades of being married together and happily married together, if I may say that, you also have a very good part of that where you have worked for same organization or institution per se, right? And especially also reporting to each other as well. Like, for example, even at Jain University, so I was the pro vice chancellor, you were the head of department. Now with Jagran Lake University as well, you were the dean and sir was a VC there as well. So how is that where you have to one work at the same place, but more importantly, reporting to each other, maybe directly or indirectly? Like, does that bring personal biases or like how do you manage that?
I'll go first for this. We had to, at least I had to work on this because initially when we always have worked together from Bangalore University days to current thing, we have always worked together, but we have learned to keep the professional relationship professional in the office and not to encroach into each other's territory. It is a very cultivated skill. Initially, when he took over as the director of the institute where we both were working, one of the things was for me to set boundaries. I had to set boundaries because a lot of people try to use you as a connect to the director or to the, to transfer messages. So I had to be very cutting and to set my boundaries very tight and saying that, look, I am me. If you have anything, you have to report to him directly. He is your director, just like he is my director. So that was very clearly set. And there are some practices that we very, very carefully have practiced it. For example, I don't think in the last 30 years of working together, I have ever gone and sat in his room without work. Neither has he come to my room without any work. We don't eat together in the office. We eat separately. We maintain our thing. And we have made a conscious effort to maintain that distance. Even in meeting, I follow all protocols. He follows all protocols. And the most important thing is about any confidential matter, because as a vice chancellor or as a pro vice chancellor, he is privy to all information decisions. I don't ask him, neither does he tell me. So that boundaries are maintained. That is very clear. That's something which we have, I think both of us have cultivated and practiced.
If I could add to that, and especially in the Indian social setting, not only does she and I know that we need to practice it, we actually need to demonstrate that to others. It's not enough that I know and she know that we maintain the boundaries. People will try to see if those boundaries can be breached, and we have to consciously sometimes make it visible to others that these boundaries are there. And sometimes it requires us to say it in as many words to people, because if somebody starts a casual conversation with me in the office about something, I would say, I fully agree with you, but then if you are meaning this, then let's stop that conversation. And once you make it very clear to people, they understand. Some of them take a few more times to understand, but over time, everybody understands. So the larger point I'm making is, it's not just I who have to know that those boundaries are there. It's not just Shailaja who needs to know that boundaries are there. Sometimes we actually need to express it openly to people, to tell them, and if they try again, to again tell them, and to show it very clearly at meetings. I remember, and I can share that, I remember an incident once in my workplace where she made an extremely good presentation on behalf of her team. And somebody stood up and said that was a great presentation, but I saw the hand of Dr. Shastri in that presentation. And she did not, she of course opposed it. Her entire team stood up and opposed it and said, this is being very unfair, not only to her, but to all of us, because we sat and did this and you want to give the credit to somebody else. So both of us didn't have to fight that battle. Now, there are people who understood what's going on and would do it. So if you make it clear to people, then it's much easier to actually ensure that professional relationship at that workplace.
Right. Very nicely said, I think, Sandeep sir and Shailaja ma'am as well. I think it's not just practicing. I think for you guys, it also becomes, the optics also becomes very important as well, that it is visible and visible in more than anyone else's way. So I think maybe, I think going to Apeksha and Sanchit as well on a very interesting thing, which I think that you both definitely work, but you both work in different shifts as well, right? So a lot, I would say, very limited overlap. So is like one of them is in the night shift, one of them is in a morning or day shift for a very long time. So how does that work for you? Is it positive? Is it negative? And how do you manage that? And that's one question that also has come very regularly. So just also covering that question as part of this as well. Different work expectations. For example, someone who works 12, 14 hours at a very different timing versus someone who probably is more in a school and comes home at 2 or 4. So that time when the other person is not available feels very lonely, and where the questions come. So how, for you guys, I think that's a much bigger gap. So how do you manage that, and how can people manage that?
So I think I took it positively, because we get our time also, like me time also. Says when I am working, he manages home and he does it very, well managed. So he does it at that time, and when he's working, I do things which are left for me to complete. And after that, when the office is over, we get our time, since we are night owls, as we told earlier also. So after completing our work, we get time for each other also, and during the work hours we get our me time, our professional time, and help us to manage house also. So very smoothly it is going. And for me it's a blessing only, because it is very, if we both are in a meeting, or we both are working the same time, it sometimes feels like now we have to manage home also, mates are there and everything, and it becomes quite difficult to manage. But since we worked in a different shifts, it becomes easy to manage home, and that's how we take it.
Sanchit is smiling, like, why are you giving so diplomatic answer? Let me tell the truth. So Sanchit, over to you.
No, when she said that he manages everything, I wanted to record that part so that from future she can't say anything.
We will send you the YouTube link where this is recorded.
Yeah. I have 80 witnesses, so yeah.
And many more who are watching this live.
Yeah.
So it's like I have an OCD, and I OCD for how the house should be clean, all the things should be at proper places, and all those things. So initially it was a big problem for him to, क्यों इतना करना है, why you have to do so much, it's okay, nobody's coming to our house, why you have to make it clean. But slowly, and with time, he's understanding those things. I usually don't tell, don't appreciate him a lot, but then I know, because he is giving so much to to make things work in a way I want. So that is so sweet of him. But then I say it very less frequently, because I don't want him to like, okay.
And I am doing it because it takes more time in fighting than doing the work she's asking. So
Brilliant. I Sandeep sir is also agreeing to that. So I think Sanchit is thinking this, what he
No, no,
wanted to get out of this session.
Sanjay
He's
has learned
getting.
his lessons very fast, and my advice to him is to keep it going that way.
thank you. Apart from that, I have observed that she is very like professionally and work wise, she's very focused, and when she's working, she's like get completely engrossed. And I'm not like that. I take things more casually. So in that way, like when I'm working, also I can like interact and do other stuff, watch movie or like hang out with her. So that makes up for everything, because at the daytime she's free and at that time I'm working. So that time at that time also we can spend some time. And night we are basically lying around, or I'm basically lying around, she's working, so that also like works out.
He gets his me time.
And I enjoy my me time personally. Like I don't want to be together. Better together is good, but not together forever, and no time for myself. So, yeah.
I have for the forever you meant is the 24/7 and not the forever longevity part of it. I hope you guys stay together and happy or forever for sure. Right. And maybe just the next question, if I may start from you only, Sanchit and Apeksha. You guys are also looking to start and also are doing some gig as well in parallel to your jobs. Like how does starting up together feel like, even though it's very early stage to ask this question, but what do you think of that? What are your early experiences of working together? See, one is working in different places. Second is working together, where like how much of fights happen, what is the good, what is the bad, and the ugly part of working together and starting together.
I think when it comes to fight, Sanchit can tell this
No, no,
better.
no. So the thing is that I'm very passionate about starting something of my own. Like I'm not a person who would like to do job or like that. So in that way, she wanted to start something from long time back. She started that thing for a brief period of time. Then she stopped it and then start focusing in job. Now when we met, and always put like from my perspective also, I've also tried like starting some new things, okay, in few frequent times, but since I was riding solo, it was not working out. Now when we have found each other, it's going well. And we have like we it's more than like month or so, like since we have got planted this idea, and we are just still working on it. But while working on our idea, that was the best time we spent, irrespective of working on office or anything, because for that we are together in that for that cause, and we are both are equally passionate about it, so that works really well for us.
Got it. Got it. So maybe I think just also looking at the watch as well, we have last 15 minutes. So maybe we can also open it to questions from the audience as well. So anyone who might have any questions could just write on the chat box and we could ask those on your behalf to both the couples or anyone in particular as well. And I think by the time we get questions, there are a few which we collected, like I was mentioning in the past, and one of them really bothers me a lot and comes quite often, if I may say. So that's something I want to throw to both of you. I'll just read that question out. So the question is, me and my partner have a significant pay gap. How should we plan our expenses? Should we spend equally, or how do we talk money in a relationship? So I think whoever might want to go first, if or any one of you or both of you would answer it.
So I believe that you should not consider it as a pay gap. You should always, like when you are in a relationship or when you are with your partner, you should add both the incomes and think that this is the our household income. Now we have to figure out how to spend it, how to save it, where to invest it. And in that way, it will work better, because if you'll think about pay gap, or I will save my salary and you do your stuff, then I don't think that will work out. And that's not how relationships work in the long term. If you consider that this is the total we are earning as an couple, then you'll have better understanding of where to spend it, how to invest in or save it. So that's the best thing you can do. Just consider it as one income, because two body, one soul. Yeah.
So, since you're working as a team, it is important to consider finances also as a team. That is one thing. And the other thing is, it's good if you will consider each other choices of, say, living or choices of traveling, because it is not necessary that both of you want the same thing. Say I like to buy an iPhone, but he wants to buy a normal phone. So when it comes to finances, we both can understand what each other wish or each other's demand from life. What if I want to spend money in a way and he wants to spend money in another way, we can come to a common point. And that is not only in finances. I believe that is in every way, in every work you are doing. Since you are a team, you have to understand each other perspective, one. And other thing is, you have to consider each other choice. It cannot be that I am always sacrificing or he is always sacrificing. You have to consider both the person's opinion, and that will it takes a lot of fights to come to a common point. That, but I believe fights are important. They after a fight you will understand one thing or the other. So if there are fight, I believe we are going good.
Right. But Sandeep sir and Shailaja, if I may ask, see, one is definitely managing expenses as a team, but the second more often problem we have also seen and heard is there's a bit of ego clash sometimes that happens as well if there is a pay gap per se, even though you may be married or partners, maybe before marriage and after marriage, thinking how do we look at that as an individual, or how do we avoid that from coming, someone earning more than the other?
Would you like to go first, Shailaja? You want me to go first?
No, you go first, and then I'll
Okay.
see what is.
Now, I think the couple needs to decide whether they are going to look at pay gap as an issue. You see, does that become a key factor in defining and deciding relationships? I believe it shouldn't. See, you are there for somebody else in their life, in your life, because you both want to invest in that life together. And more than financial investment, it is emotional investment and investment in people. Now, if I'm going to make money as the primary factor, then I will see everything from that lens of money.
Right.
I'm therefore not saying that finances is not important or discussing that is not important, but the cradle of the relationship needs to be that emotional bonding that two people have. Now, I think we also need to be honest at the start if there is a gap, and that gap could be for various reasons. The gap could be because you being older than your wife, you are at a little more advanced professional stage in your life. If there is a gap, like in our case, I'm a few years older than her. And therefore, at the time of our marriage, I was already professionally in my career for a few years and she was just starting off. So there was bound to be a little difference in terms of the compensation package that we brought home. And we consciously took it, and Shailaja consciously took a decision once she completed her PhD, and then it's around that time our son came in. She consciously took a decision that she would do only work which would allow her to spend time with our son. And therefore, she was doing consultancy for a long period of time. And we both were aware that there would not be that parity of income which comes because of that. Later on, when she took on full-time employment also, I mean, we both kept in mind the fact that there is income coming from both the homes, from both the sides. And I think there never will be a conflict on that if there is openness in discussing that. You see, we both realize it's not a question of saying whether I'm spending from my money and you're spending from your money. That question never came up. Expense was there. We both talked about it and the amount was paid. And emotionally, sometimes it's a little more satisfying for both of us if she buys things which I need and I buy things that she needs. See, emotionally, it's because then you say, no, I'll pay for it. You put back your phone, or I'll say, no, so in a sense, that also creates a bonding. And one more thing that we both do, We know our resources, we know our finances. But I don't ask Shailaja, where are you investing your what is not spent? I trust the fact that she will do it wisely. I come to know of it later. She does tell me, but I don't advise that do only this or do only that. I know that she's capable of taking care of that on her own. So I think that understanding needs to be there, and that finance cannot be the bedrock of a relationship. If it is, there are going to be big questions which come up.
Got it. Ma'am, you wanted to add something?
I think along with sharing of expenses, all that I agree, but I think as women, we also need to have our own financial, a little freedom, that you don't need to, I don't tell him that this is what I have spent here, this is what I have invested here many a times. And many a times he doesn't tell me, but we know we are there for each other if there is any commitment that is there. So that little financial freedom is also important for the identity. And I think I'm one of those very strong people who believe that women need to have that space within a marital relationship. It's not that I submerge everything. Neither should the man do that completely, that everything he is accountable to me or I am accountable everything to him. There should be that little space that we maintain our individuality. Like I take care of my parents. Not that he is not there. He will pay things. But then I don't need to be telling him, look, I have sent this month this money to them. They were falling short of this. I have bought this for them. But if there is a shortage, I'll tell, yes, we need to invest in their homes because my parents are alone. Cameras, I'm falling short of this. Can you put in some money? We are there. But I think that little space should be there. This is what I believe. And I think we have been practicing quite successfully. But money is part of, a part of many other things. We can't make it the primary thing. And I loved what Apeksha said, that you're a team and team needs to work together and decide together. So I think I loved that answer which Apeksha said.
Right. And maybe before we pick Pavitra's question, just one more question, which is just come from a lot of people here. My partner frequently hosts friends and family at our house. I'm not much of a people person. I look more boring asking him not to. So how should I manage? And I think that's generally the case.
I missed that question. I missed that question.
So the question is, my partner frequently hosts friends and family at our house. I'm not much of a people person. And I look boring if I ask them not to. How do I manage that?
Actually, this is the problem we are also facing. I am a very social person. I like to, be around people, enjoy with them, and he's not that person. So this problem I am also facing. I also want to know from ma'am, sir, how to solve this problem, because because I like to spend time with people, play games, and do things, but he is not very comfortable with most of the people. He likes, company of some people. So how to manage that? Should we, do it?
I think talking.
We also have Apeksha and Sanchit looking for that answer. So maybe Shailaja ma'am and Sandeep sir to the rescue.
I don't know. We are a little older generation. We have figured it out in a different way. There are many things, where your interests are different. And sometimes those interests can be, managed, and somewhere you can meet in the middle ground. Sometimes you need to have this little me time and engage in that time. For that, I think essential is communicating. Actually, verbalizing it as an issue that needs to be attended to is very important. This is what I don't like. This is what I like. The communication is the only way out to figure out how, because there is nothing like this is the way or that is the only way or that is the wrong way, this is the right way. We need to figure out what works for us in our context. So, but to arrive there, I think talking freely, talking honestly to each other is the way out. Sandeep, you want to add anything to
I'll
that?
add this. When you genuinely care for someone, you are willing to take that one step that needs to be taken, which the other person will become comfortable when you take that step. You see, let me take, you see, by nature, Shailaja is more talkative, expressive. By nature, I am a little, it takes time for me to open up with people. And therefore, in social circles, people have seen me as arrogant, or people have seen me as somebody who doesn't talk, etc. Now, she has, in those social circles, ensured that that friendly, humorous me also comes out, and therefore has helped me to actually come out of that. There is another aspect to it. Shailaja does not like formal social functions. You see. And given the roles and responsibilities I have played, there are formal dinners or cocktails which I'm required to attend. And initially she used to say, it's so boring to go there. People come up with such artificial talk there. But I said, look, the positions we occupy require us to do that. So I know that she is not fully comfortable still doing it, but then she has walked half the distance and said, okay, we'll make that attempt to try and make it work. So that's, I mean, if you really care for the other person, you will take that step, knowing that this is something that is a limitation in you. And for the sake of the other, you need to actually take that step. Yeah. Now, if I could just take 20 seconds more, again, Shailaja and I possibly belong to that older generation. In our younger days, we never had that me time and we time. You see, me time, we time was our time. You see, and we were together and still on our own sometimes, and together sometimes. There were times when we will be sitting in front of each other, talking, and then suddenly one of us will go off into another world, and the other will realize that me time has started. So I often say M and W are just turning around the world. You see, M is like this, W is like this. So the me time, we time is just, at the end of the day, the vision with which you look at it. Maybe, as I said, we are old fogies and look at it from older generations' way of looking at it. But then that's how it has worked for us.
Right. I think completely agree with you. I think we complicate things a lot because of expectations, where I think with social media and so many, I think other opinions, we start, either it is FOMO or the definitions of work-life balance being defined for you, me time, and all that balance somewhere has made things more complicated. Like you said, I think I would consider myself more closer to that generation where so many complications were not there than now as well. So
Can I add something?
Yes.
Can I add
Yes,
just?
ma'am, sure.
I think one thing which really helped us, I mean, I'm just reflecting, is we were staying with Sandeep's mom, my mother-in-law. I don't like to say that she was staying with us. I would say that we were staying with her. And you know, that helped us bond better. This is what I think. When there is somebody, an older person in your house, you need to give that respect to them, especially when we were newly married, and maintain that. There is 30 years back, there is a decorum that you had to maintain, and probably that's why we bonded very well together, because we had to maintain that, and that gave us a different
and Shaila, if you can also add that during that first year, it was a period of mourning for my mother because my father had passed away just 4 months before our marriage. So Shailaja had, I mean, imagine Shailaja is a new bride coming into a home where I have a mother who is still thinking about the fact that her husband has just passed away. And I must give full credit to her that she understood that and took the marriage forward, you see. And I think it's not a cliche to say that in India we don't marry another person, but we marry a family. See, that I think is something that we all keep getting alive to from time to time.
Right, right. I think that's really great to know. So I am also watchful of the time. So maybe we'll just conclude with the last question of Pavitra and trying to maybe I'll just extend that question more towards not just Gen Z, but maybe keeping Gen Z in mind. And I think a lot of people who are going to get or who have recently got married, and obviously with both point of views from, I think, with very different school of thoughts, with 1 year into marriage and 30 plus years, what would be some one advice or things you would want to give to, let's say, Gen Z to keep in mind the notion of being in a relationship? What is that one advice you would want to give to them? So maybe I think from both the couples, we'll conclude with this question. One advice you would want to give to Gen Z on the notion of being in a relationship.
Uh, I would like to say, don't be in a relationship just for the sake of it. That I think that's very important. Like in the current times, people just stay in a relationship for the sake of it or because of FOMO. Yeah, so don't be in the relationship if you don't feel that you are being respected or you are being valued. Be in a relationship only if you feel comfortable with each other, and not because everyone else is in a relationship and you are feeling left out.
And to add to it, we have to think that these days there are small reasons to of breakups. I will say people are in a relationship, but they find breakups more easy. But I believe to make a relationship work, you have to adjust. One thing is there that it can never be a happy relationship. There will be challenges. You just have to figure a way out to talk to each other, to be comfortable around each other, and to make it work. It cannot be that there will always be happy days or there will be no fights. I think fights are important to understand each other better. So that is what I believe.
Wow. And one piece of advice from you, Sandeep sir, Shailaja ma'am.
If I can say uh, 2 points. One is any relationship requires investments. It's like a bank account. You can't withdraw from it without investing first. And the investment should be more than the withdrawal. Don't expect for more withdrawal when you have not invested in. And investment withdrawal is always lesser. Don't have too high expectations. Be prepared for that. But it requires a lot of investment of time, energy, patience, you name it, it is there. Second thing is, relationship is not going to be static. There are going to be ups and downs constantly. I mean, if people think that, okay, first 10 years of marriage, if you're used to it, then it is going to be easy. No, it is not easy. I can tell that even 30 years of marriage, we still need to figure out how do we do things certain ways. I'll give a quick example for that. In 2014, our son had to go to London to study. And we went there to drop him. And we told him, don't come to the airport. We saw him. We got into the cab and he was standing there with his eyes filled with tears. And both of us knew now that was a very different moment for us. And both of us, when the car started, the taxi started from there. And both of us were bawling. Both of us were crying our hearts out. That taxi driver just couldn't understand what the hell is happening to these middle-aged people. He was sending, giving us the tissues. at that moment it hit us that our son is gone now. We are now just bystanders. We have to just watch him from a distance. And it was now for only life is in only between us now. We are back to square one. So we had to reset our priorities. We had to, we took 3 days break. We went to Goa, both of us, and we sought out, okay, you're going to take care, his health went for a toss at that point of time because he doesn't talk about he missed his son. So I told him, I'm not going to nag you to take care of your health. If you want to see your grandchildren, etc., you better take care of yourself. I will take care of myself. So, it is not static. We need to work through that, and it requires a lot of effort from both the parties. And it is fun. The companionship that you get out of that is fantastic.
I'll just add one analogy. Building a relationship is not about a 50-meter race. It is a 15-kilometer marathon. A 50-meter race is over in a dash, and a burst of energy is enough. A 15-kilometer marathon is about patience, persistence, and being aware of what is there in the end. And the toughest part of that 15-kilometer marathon is the last 2-3 kilometers. See? So if you have to invest in a relationship, it's not just about today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. It's the long-term vision that you need to have, that the word with both Shailaja and Apeksha used, investment. The investment you do on that relationship is what is critical.
I think that's some great advice, I think, from all of you. Looking at it as a bank account where you are withdrawing things during tough times or investing things with the time that you actually do consciously. And I think an analogy I would also want to add here is, like, we look at heart as a symbol for relationship. So relationship is also like a heartbeat. Like, it can't be straight. The straight means it's just dead.
Yeah, it's dead.
Right? And it has to have those ups and downs, and that's what relationship is, work in progress, and the investment you need to make sure it goes from a down to an up the next beat. So I think definitely that requires a lot of work. And thank you so much for sharing your experiences and wisdom, Shailaja ma'am and Sandeep sir and Apeksha and Sanchit, their experiences into your relationship, and wish both of you power couples all the best for many more years and the forever journey and the marathon, like we said, for taking together. I'm sure all of us would have learned a lot from this as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been wonderful being part of this conversation.
Thank you, Puneet, for this very innovative idea of, it's very nice for us to reflect on, we take a pause and think and reflect. And it was wonderful meeting both of you, the James. You have given, I think, both of us a lot of hope that the new generation of couples are amazing too. Thank you for showcasing that to us.
It was really nice to meet you, to hear most of the. We were thinking how we will look after 30 years. We will also know.
And I have taken all the notes, so no worries.
I'm sure I think a lot of audience and people too have learned and taken notes from how to maintain that energy you have after 30 years. So thank you so much, everyone.
And Puneet, I think we also need to thank Richa. I think you both are also, we cannot forget the amazing couple that both of you are. I don't know, she's not here in the picture now. I think
she's on the chat box. She's sending messages on the chat box.
Right.
Yeah.
I think she's there.
Richa and Puneet, you're awesome couple too. We love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.